Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Actually, I noticed all these other guys on the site are sounding so pro, sitting so close to the microphone. It just means I have to sit up straight, huh? Imagine that. Okay, let's try that again. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Brought to you by the good people at Jiffy Jubes, Juby Jubes. They're the best Jubes you've ever had. All right. What the hell day is it today here? It is Wednesday, the 4th of August. I think we are officially now into the dog days of summer. And actually, our fair usually starts here in the West Coast, the PNE, Pacific National Exhibition. And usually, actually, the first the start of the fair is rain. So let's see. Vancouver now has been going, I think, like 37 days without rain, which is just absolutely shocking considering this is supposed to be a rainforest. So maybe, if we're lucky, maybe the rain will actually start coming back relatively soon. But anyway, as you can see from the dashboard, things are looking a little crisper. We're starting to get some interesting data prints here. So I know Sjord, of course, fired up the engine again after a little bit of a hiccup. We actually had a couple little things that we wanted to fix up and get them reporting a little better. The breadth indicator now, it should be scrollable over time. Also, too, have a nice little date update field so we know exactly when this thing was last updated, which I think is super, super, super important. I got to make sure the data is being updated. So I am pleased to see, we're slowly making progress. Really nice job. Whoever's in charge of this TRI blog is doing a fantastic job here. I don't know. Kevin, do you know who's doing the blog these days? I got to say, hats off. Great job. In fact, actually, I think we even have now a new long-short position tutorial for TradingView on the blog. And I thought that was such a cool idea because a lot of people, a lot of the little things that I just sort of take for granted. I've been doing this forever. I don't even think about this stuff. People like Kevin are just slowly filling in those sort of, like maybe the little cracks and the potholes kind of on the road, or the cracks on the stucco or whatever, and then sand blasting it and making it look all nice and pro. So I got to say, very impressed with what I see coming along here. Sjord's kicking butt, and actually he even said that he has a really important deadline middle of August here. He's been shooting for a while to get everything all squared up, so I'm very impressed with his dedication there. And the school term, we're all now into exams. Actually, before we talk about that, I want to show you something really cool that the boys have been working on here. One thing that I've been sort of wanting that we just haven't had is now, we do like hour-long shows of on a daily basis here. In fact, today's broadcast, I think, was like an hour and a half. And we often make reference to names. Of course, we did fabulously well on this Luna. But one thing we've sort of had lacking was the ability to go back and sort of search through and pull out like specific references to Luna and all that kind of stuff. This was just one search that I just did here. And so now we have that ability. So, if I do make a reference in like, say, a broiler chicken show or the crypto TRI top 100 show, this daily brief recap. Remember, we have a 30-day trial on this thing. I mean, free, right? You could come on and just mine us. It wouldn't be good karma, but you could. And now you can just come into the video library function and just search specifically for a reference that I've made. So I'm super, super stoked about that. As I said there a moment ago, we do have the school now sort of heading on full steam into exams. And actually today, is our last class for our level 3s. A little bit of a tear shed coming to the end of the program. But I thought actually this last term with my right-hand man, Zach, he should evolve into this level 3 instructor going forward. But I thought this past term we had went off really, really well. So thank you so much, Zach. Great job. So, but all you level 3ers, last group tutorial session today. So I really hope to see all of you guys there. And make sure you're all set up to kick butt for the final exam. All of our school terms, of course, are going into exams, level 1, 2, and 3. And actually, we just had a really great conversation with one of our OGs, David O. You often hear me make reference to him. He's working diligently away on his market and transitions modules. And we have Kiran and Daniele working very diligently on their day trading course programs. So what I love is that TRI now is evolving. I can see the evolutionary process happening, and it puts a big smile on my face. It's no longer just the Beamish. Now it's starting to be all these components. And of course, as soon as we get the screeners back up and running, I teased you there a few months ago about things like the key reversals. I'm still a lot short TD Bank for whatever it's worth, and just love the trade. Trade's working perfectly fine. But as soon as this is back up and running and kicking ass, then of course you're going to hear the shill for Brian to actually sell you guys to come in and actually sign up and pay us a monthly fee for these key reversal signals. But we're not quite there yet. But very pleased to see the evolution of the site. On Wednesdays, actually, Kevin comes on and talks a little bit. We have a stock pickers club. We call it the Secret Options Formula Club that meets on Tuesday evenings. And we actually had a couple ideas, and I actually went and bought one of the ideas that came out of the club last night. I like the idea so much. I actually think it's going to be our Korean barbecue first trade idea, because the guy who actually I'm going to be doing the Korean barbecue plan, he was the one who came up with this idea. And to me, that makes perfect sense. So we're both in the trade together. Anyway, point of the matter here is had a great meeting last night. And Kevin, of course, had a long conversation with the group today, reviewing a lot of those ideas and, of course, stuff that he's trading. So feel free, pop on TRI. You want to hear Kevin and what Kevin sees in the market. I think it's a great idea that you take advantage of that trial. And maybe that's enough to convince you that there's value in this TRI site to sign up for like a basic site membership, which I think is like 30 or 40 bucks a month or something. Along with a big old whack of the Beamish, Julian's offerings, and all the other various Fjord's offerings. I mean, I think everybody right now on TRI thinks that Fjord basically walks on water. And frankly speaking, I'm thinking pretty damn highly of him myself here. He was the one who brought this idea to our attention. Of course, I just apply all my wonderful technical analysis, and we're sitting here all very, very happy campers right now after buying and selling and basically establishing risk-free trades now on this. This is my bread and butter. This is my wheelhouse. This is everything that I do. So it's beautiful to see how this trade just worked out to perfection. And I see a lot of names in the crypto space. I've said this before. It felt like we needed names like this to sort of lead and change the conversation, change the tone, stop talking about like dog money and all that nonsense and start, talking a little bit differently. Maybe let's talk a little bit more about the evolution of DeFi and how that's going to play out. I don't know. Point here is, I mean, at the end of the day, the point here is we're making money from trading. That's all I care about. So big golf clap for Sjord and his ideas, and of course good execution right across the site. In fact, I don't like to embarrass him, but I often like to just grab Kevin out of the blue. Kevin, did you bang out a double on this one? Is he here?
I sure did.
There he is. Awesome. So I mean, it's not just Brian bullshitting you. I mean, TRIers. We all sort of bought the Kool-Aid. We all bought the punch, and we all make great money on this. Very pleased with that. Interestingly enough, from the broader perspective, a lot of volatility in the market, eh? Woohoo! Things are up and down like a herders. Um, Interesting economic data coming out. Some very wild action in the crude oil market with some inventory numbers. Massive, massive drawdowns in gasoline. Huge builds in crude oil. The non-manufacturing producer price indexes came out very like all over the map. Numbers, I think on balance, generally positive, like beating expectations. And in a weird sort of way, I think the sort of the data of late was kind of pointing to that the U.S. was stalling out, and I think that the data, the actual economic data that came out today, actually pointed, and it might be a bit delayed, right? Because this is older data, but you can see like non-manufacturing, like these numbers, they exceeded expectations right across the board. Things like non-manufacturing business activity. Look at that. That's like a 10% increase in business activity. 10% increase in the economy in any one quarter. Hello, what the hell's going on here? Oh, I know. The central bankers are trying to inflate the economy and justify printing a whole bunch of new money and basically resetting the great reset. It's happening as you speak, people. I mean, what happens when you take interest rates to zero and just leave them there? This is what's going to happen. And what scares me, of course, is that the stock market's going to go face ripping up into this, and it's going to be some sort of crazy hyperbolic inflationary top. My hunch is, believe it or not, that this actually ends. It doesn't end now. I think we go back and forth for probably a little while. And in a weird sort of way, you can almost see the early 1980s replaying themselves. So, how do I show you this without wasting a lot of time? Here is sort of the current Dow. And 1980, of course, was the last sort of similar generational pivot. So that's through this cycle. And coming out of 1980, 81, 82. Oh, by the way, last time Jupiter Saturn crossed, did the same thing, was right here. And believe it or not, I actually think we're sort of in like this phase right here, where we just had a massive reflating of the economy, booming stock market. Everybody's going to be thinking crash. The correction's going to come, but it's probably not going to be that deep. And it actually sets up this kind of move, parabolic. And it's just good. The market's just going to keep grinding higher, grinding higher, grinding higher. And then all of a sudden, one day, the whole damn thing breaks. People talk about 87 as a big stock market crash when ironically, no, all it was just actually a very healthy technical correction. 50% rule, WD Gann. This is like technical analysis 101. So, interesting how the crash, just all it does is it brings price back down into old consolidation levels. So, what the hell is our world going to look like here going forward, especially with this insane bottom here, right? Ironically enough, with the sort of money printer bonanza going on here, it's very difficult to sort of even draw parallels. Is that sort of 87 crash scenario back into key support levels? It might have been, but it does feel as though we're going through sort of like a big sort of parabolic run up, maybe your sort of 87 scenario. And you notice that this consolidation period is actually, boom, your 50% crash scenario, but they just keep working the market higher. Be interesting to see if that even is 50%. Oh, a little bit shy. Anyway, point here is I don't hear the Fed actually saying anything about bringing the end to the party. I don't hear them talking about raising interest rates. I think the money printers are full gangbusters. Florida, from what I understand, cases are going through the roof. Does that translate into new hospitalizations? Does the system start seizing up? I don't know. I will say though that just it's historic times. It's unprecedented, no doubt about it. And interesting. Just even in the middle of the summer, look at this insane volatility we're getting here in the market. I will say though that on that crazy ass big economic number, ISM number, the U.S. dollar did come back rallying smartly here. And I've been wondering, I guess the way I look at it is the market's now sort of saying, well, if the U.S. economy is as strong as it is, that justifies us flowing money back into the USA. Then we had sort of recent talk about, cases are starting to rise again. And does everything have to shut down? I don't know. ISM number came out very strong, sort of implying, hey, things are still pretty strong. But at the same time, too, that's not really a buy signal. And if anything, what I'd be worried about right now is let's see what happens when we get up into reload short zones here. I don't really like the idea of buying US dollars, especially after that big move. Does this actually translate into a top and we have to work our way back down here in earnest? I don't know. I don't think so, but just be cognizant. Market will do any old damn thing it wants. If you see the market starting to rally up into the top here and then we start aiming out, that would probably set up a pretty damn good looking gold long setup. So keep that in mind. I'll be watching for this kind of price action down the road. I'll leave that on the screen. So we'll probably review that over time. Your guys' matrix here. So there is that sort of rising wedge. It broke. Do we inside bar fail here, head down, or do we counter trend rally and then top out and make an official M? And then back down we go in earnest. Let's see how that plays out. It's interesting how that's a nice inside bar there now. Stock market's still pressing up against its highs, although, we showed you that megaphone. The transports and the Dow are still disconnected. So transports look like they're making new lows again. That's not a bullish backdrop. I'm sorry, folks. It just isn't. So interesting. This might be one of these disconnects of old economy and new economy. Dow is kind of weak here, but the S&P is actually hanging in relatively strong. Oil is coming off, so maybe to try and make the transports a little happier, the Arabs and the blue-eyed sheiks, kind of like, what, let's give them a bit of reprieve. It's interesting, I even had Bagra. That's how you say his name, right, Kevin? Maybe that's why he never gets back to me. I think actually it's Bugra. But anyway, he actually sent me a message on Twitter the other day going, hey, interesting looking top there in the crude oil. I got to say, anybody who had the balls to go in and buy a put option, that's actually a pretty darn good setup. Didn't really fire a great location for me to actually take a short setup. I would prefer, I like to be, in fact, this should be like a red box, right? So maybe if we can get a counter trend rally back up top here, I might look at a put again. Might even look at Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar is really heavy oil sort of related. So we'll see how that looks. That should all sort of be risk off, right? Stock market should be a bit weaker if oil's coming down. I don't know whether is Bitcoin really up too much on the day. Well, it's having a pretty good rally here. So 39.7 and change. I think we had sort of talked. I thought it was interesting. It put out. Let's see if I can do this. I think I did it. Like so. So there we are. So kind of thought that this was like a midpoint consolidation and that this doji set up a midpoint pivot, but actually with the break to new lows here, that's off the table now. So that doesn't exist. What we might find is, and this is actually a really good analogy of how like I would sort of set up my bot trade for that potential trend continuation trade. Now I'm going to simply draw top end of the range, bottom end of the range. And then I'm going to grab my, we'll go bot setup, doink. So make sure it's, of course, pointed the right direction, doink. So we need a correction at least to 33. So that's happened. I don't really want to see a correction beyond 66. And that's interesting because that 66 you can see is the original bot entry level off of this setup, whatever it plays out as. So we could actually have a cute littler bot setup in here, which would be sort of that AB. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. I do like the idea of a visit up into Mountain Man. And like I had done there before, we can, of course, do the extensions. Except it's got to go the other way around. So good old parking garage. Actually, it looks like parking garage is up there now. And actually, I kind of like that even better because now that really lines up really well with that reload zone. So I do like that. And then we could even do a foggy boggy off of that and 2.618 up into that area. Seems logical. Let's see what we get. Foggy buggy. Hiya! Whoa, look at that. 144.5. And actually, often these ABCDs, they do stall right out at 144.5s. So I do believe we're getting quite a confluence of levels. 61.8, 1.618. There's 200% extension. 2.618. Foggy buggy extension. ABCD. I like the idea of a push up top here. But, you know, good old reload zone or, bot setups. And, of course, this is going to screw this up again. But what the hell? Boom. Actually, that's not what we want. We want bot setup. Boom. There we go. This is still very early in setting up. So what I would prefer to see is, and ideally what I'd love to see is give me a move on the other side of this trend line, then go set up a W over here. Wouldn't that be awesome? Something like that, although it's not the best looking W. But, you know, something along those lines would be so sick. You know, something like that, that would be just awesome. So then we'd go boobity boo and then grab that and then go clone and then go zoobity zoo, something like that. Well, no, actually, why don't we go there? And then go bot trades, and there you go. So you'd be hunting sort of your long entry would be the ideal long entry would be like right down in here. You could get like a nice sick little double bottom right in there. That'd be awesome. So that's kind of what I'm thinking going forward here. We'll see how it goes. I might be hunting along to take us up top here. And interesting, you know, Kevin even pointed this out in the video today. That downtrend line, what a great example. Don't take a trade at the downtrend line. Gonna get your ass handed to you. And what I don't want to see here is if this just goes zing, zing straight up, then there is no trade for me. And what's worse is that might even set up something like this, you know, and then we have to head back down in earnest. I don't want to see that. So give me this nice little sneak your way above that trend line, then consolidate, and away we go. That's what I'd love to see. What's really interesting is that I don't think that actually Bitcoin's a place to make a lot of money here in the short term. I think it's the boot coins. And this is exactly the message we've had for, I think, in the past week or two. So I sure hope somebody's going to give us some credit out there. That this is where I think the money's to be made. We talked about this LTO, man. The Luna's already gone. Can't buy that now. But that LTO is just in there. There's a bunch of these names. Man, maybe not so much that one. But another one of Chico's that I did buy Well, that one's just working away, but nonetheless, that's I wouldn't buy that there. But this one here, I really like this. Look at this chart pattern. So this is and I often see this, guys, right? You draw your 78.6s. You're thinking, okay, I'm going to come in bottom in a range, and the market tanks to new lows. Ah, fuck me. But then it comes rallying back, and you can actually see it puts in these W's right off that original 78.6. I see that so often. So I'm seeing lots of that type of price action. And what you'll probably find over time is that people, technicians and all that kind of stuff, they go, well, it turns out this was actually a big head and shoulders. And there's the bull breakout, whatever. Right? You often see that. That doesn't surprise me. So I'm seeing a lot of that kind of price action. There was a few names in Kevin's universe that we also saw. I could see another FU move here down. So my actual suggestion to people is, trade this now, take advantage of this. But once we get to sort of, I would even say like the last week of August and in through that Labor Day weekend, once we get into this window, then if you're still thinking about rally, I might just start pulling the bids and just saying, you know what, because crypto is notorious for breaking kids' hearts here through September, October. I mean, it's just notorious how bad it is. So I love the idea of hunting ideas. And frankly speaking, that's a W there. You want to go and buy that? I don't have a problem with that. I mean, caveat emptor, I'm not telling you what to buy. You buy whatever the hell you want. It's your money, not mine. But once we get into this window over here, I would be like, okay, whatever rallies, did you get your free positions established? If you still haven't gotten fills on stink bids, I might just pull bids and just cool your jets. So now's the time, that we are in that magic window. If this stuff's going to work, it should work now. And you see, there's a fair amount of green on the screen. I've been fans of names like this sis. I mean, look at that. The bottom's just sitting there. We'll spend some time tonight in the crypto top 100 little fun group meeting that we have with Nick and Dominic and Ben. So maybe check that out later on this evening, looking at a bunch of crypto names. But my hunch is there's going to be a lot of names that look like this, and it's like we're now into this season. So if this stuff's going to rock and roll, now's when it's going to happen. Okay, I think I'm going to leave the rant at that for today. Sure hope you got some value out of it. Broader market, whew, what a mess. Got a funny feeling there's a big nasty drubbing setting up for the fall here. Crypto, and probably kind of like some junior stocks. We're getting some big-ass doubles off right now. I like the crypto space, whether it be crypto stocks, cryptocurrencies themselves. I like there's a window here. Let's see if we can go make some money in this window. Once we get into September-ish, October-ish, be damn careful. But, just be cautious. So, okay, blah, 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 blah. Sure hope you got some value out of that. See y'all level 3ers for class in a couple hours. Last class. Oh, tear. But getting you guys set up for final exams. We'll do the crypto top 100 tonight, so feel free to pop in and join that. And thank you so much, Kevin, for an awesome presentation to the TRI group today about all the fun stocks. And actually, there was a stock I even bought today from that meeting last night. I'm not going to pitch you it, but it is kind of cool to see that there are great stock ideas out there that I really like that I'm willing to buy right now. So that's good. All right, Kevin, let's see if the Beamish can stop talking. Have yourselves a great day. All the best, and bye for now.